Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from ICM, and it's a kit in 135 scale. We have here the G7107 truck in 135 scale, but this time we get it in a German service with infantry. So basically we get a truck model kit as well as the figurines both in the same 135 scale, so it might be a good opportunity to build some kind of diorama in a popular size. And as you can see, the kit number is 35588, so that's the final shape of this kit, and you will get exactly the same stuff as what you'll see in this video review. So that's why it's interesting to see what is actually in the box and why it might be a good choice if you're a fan of 135 scale. So first of all, here you can see the comparison with my hand. We have quite nice box art which shows that we should get at least 4 figurines and 1 truck, and unfortunately I don't see any driver. Those are mostly like standing figurines. Here on the side you'll find also some information about the real truck and also information about the kit. So it's written that there are 274 parts for assembly of the truck and 34 plus 47 parts for 4 figurines and various equipment which is included here. Next, on the side here you'll find, let's say, the marking guide for all of this stuff, and I hope that we get more marking options, not only one which is depicted on the box art, but who knows. I guess for this we should take a look at the assembly manual, and we can do it only after opening the box. So that's what I am doing right now, and it is sealed with a tape from all 4 sides, so that's why I'm using the knife in order to cut through. But in the meantime, I can say that the original release of this truck was quite nice, and for a 135 scale truck it offered a lot of features out of the box, and there was also plenty of space for some scratch building in case you wanted to add more features, so definitely a good thing for its price. And in the meantime, I opened the packaging or the box, so just give me a second to lift this. As you can see, it's a cover printed top cover, so it doesn't provide any protection whatsoever, but this white cardboard box will preserve all the parts intact, and here is what we have inside. So let's place it aside, and of course we will not start with assembly manual, we will start with the plastic sprues. And for example, plastic parts for the truck are packed separately from the figurines, and it kind of hints that these are basically 2 kits which are combined together. So first of all, I'm going to open the truck parts, because some of you probably may have missed the original review of the first release of this truck, so it will be interesting to see what is here. And I have to open the clear sprue. Here we have the parts for the front cap, so let's remove the dust a bit and zoom in, and now you can see that here we have mostly the, let's say, glass parts for the front cap. As you can see, they're looking quite nice, and we also can purchase the masks, because masks are not supplied in this kit, so you have to source them by yourself, and I really recommend to do so, because otherwise you might end up with a really complex masking work. And here I think it is quite important because the scale itself is quite large as well. Next we start with the first gray plastic sprue, so here probably I will have to zoom out a bit so that you can see all of the parts. So the front cap should be assembled out of separate panels. This is quite, I would say, expected, but we have the separate doors, we also have the separate bonnet, and this might be handy for some diorama ideas. Also the wheel axles and the engine is included here in a quite detailed shape, so that's also a good advantage of this kit in my opinion. And maybe what I can also show if I flip over the sprue, so here you can see that we have some guiding elements which will help you with overall alignment, so this is definitely a welcome thing. But note that on some parts we have the push marks, so you have to send them off in case you plan to expose the surface of these parts. Next we continue with more parts for the drivetrain or for the engine. So here if I zoom in, you can see that we have a lot of small parts. Here is comparison with my fingertip, for example, so be sure to have the right tools in order to have those installed into the necessary spots, because otherwise it might be a bit tedious work, and this is definitely not something what you can handle with the bare fingers, especially the thin parts. They will require some due care and also careful installation on your model. Next we have the pair of the frames, so again we zoom in out, It's a Spru C, and here we have the plastic wheels. So I will leave only one plastic sprue, and also here we have the frame bars for the rear section. So even though the tarpaulin is not included here, you can try to replicate it with your own tools and maybe materials, and that might be also one of the assembly options, even though manufacturer does not mention it in the assembly manual, but I think it's doable. And of course the plastic wheels are also welcome update over typical vinyl offering. And in this scale, I think it is quite important thing, which is adding to the overall realism of the appearance of this model. Next, we have the last gray plastic sprue. It's a Spru B, and here we have the large chassis bars on top and bottom. Both are molded together with some pre-molded features, if we can put it this way. Also, we have here leaf springs and steering wheel. We have also some parts for the rear bed. So it's just a matter of combining all of these parts together, and then you'll get a really nice result. And again, I remind you that out of the box you can assemble the open version of the rear section, but with those frames in the package, I think you can also try to replicate the covered version, or maybe let's say at least add those covers for a bit more engaging look. Why I'm a bit confused, I'm trying to understand why we have here the figurine parts molded separately from those accessories, or let's say weapons, or maybe equipment if you prefer. So here we have various machine guns, rifles, and also daggers, pioneer tools, helmets. So all of these items are included onto one sprue, and as you can see, the molding quality looks quite good. So it's just a matter of painting them properly and also combining them somehow with the figurine, and that's pretty much all what is required from you. But in my opinion, they look decent, and this is definitely a welcome bonus for out-of-the-box packaging. And as for the figurines, we have them included on the separate frame. So overall design is standard for 1/35 scale, so you can expect one piece torso and separate legs, hands, and heads. And of course, poses are predefined, as I said in the beginning, so it means you get the standing figurines and you have to somehow arrange them around the vehicle. It's a shame that the driver figurine was not added into this kit, but at least we have the 4 figurines, so you don't have to use all of them, and you can keep some of them for the future projects as well. That might be also a good thing to remember. As for the decals, I suppose they should be hidden in the assembly manual, but no, there are no decals whatsoever. And that's why we can move on straight to the assembly manual, but here I will have to close the lenses and zoom out a bit. So here we have the assembly manual. It's a typical ICM brochure. We have short history note on the first page. Next we continue with the parts map. So here we can see that all parts will be used. That's why you have to be careful in order not to break anything what is shown here. And assembly process starts with the main chassis, so here you have to combine all of these bars, check the alignment of them, because it will be quite important when you will be placing the front cap and the rear section. And here we continue with the engine and the wheel axles. So as I said before, they're quite detailed, but it might be also a good opportunity to add, for example, the brake lines, maybe some wiring on the engine. So definitely check your references. If you have some, then definitely try to copy some of those items. Another interesting area is the interior, because we have these separate doors. It means that you can open them, even though manufacturer does not suggest such assembly option. And next we continue with the bonnet. So for the bonnet, we also have the closed version suggested, but the separate top cover actually might be handy for open version. And here, by the way, you can see the rear bed assembly. So it's quite a simple process, but some small parts will be involved. So that's why I pay attention to how they align together and also where they should be installed, because in some spots you have to be careful in order to get them into the right spot, not onto the different one. As you can see here, we installed the rear bed onto the chassis, we assembled the wheels, and then we have also the second assembly option with those top frames. But again, those are only top frames, so in case you want to have the tarpaulin, you have to build it out of your own materials. And here we can also leave the windscreen as far as you can see, so that's also quite a cool thing. because it's no, it should be visible on the finished model. And here we have one and only marking option, so that's quite surprising. It might be worth checking some reference materials. Maybe you'll find some other German vehicles, I mean these trucks particular, in a German marking. And then we have the separate marking guide for the figurines and also assembly manual for those items, for example this machine gun ammo and machine gun itself. So overall, we have quite a decent combo set in 135 scale. It should be already available, so you can get it, for example, in Modelimex, and I will be happy to hear your opinion about this release. Do not forget to write it here in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining, and bye.